Okay, we're back here. So I didn't really get much progress done from the last video. It's been pretty busy the last couple of days doing things that are not modding related. But progress has been sort of made. I'm slowly starting to implement the JSON data structures. Here is the standard silo, which of course isn't functional in the current version. I'll probably go ahead and get it all flushed out so we can start utilizing it. It's got a few things that have to still be handled, and then here's the standard launcher, which is I'm not even sure is going to function properly in the JSON system at the moment. I've got all its multi-block stuff coded out. There's 4 different multi-block states for it. All of them are roughly about the same. I don't have a fancy rotation system built for it yet. Um, the biggest issue with this is going to be the render. Right now we have a render listener, but the render listener needs to be based on the rotation states. Right now we have the rotation states set up as north, south, whatever. Reality of these actually need to be set up to be numbers is actually how I'm going to have to handle these. So, but we'll get to that here in a bit, because the first thing first is I've got to actually get some of this other stuff handled. I have removed the portable launcher. I have removed the missile display. Those will be re-added back. The silos is what we're going to focus on first. If I can get those functional, then the only thing we really have to handle is then the launcher. And of course, these all have to be commented out because they're JSON handled now, so that means they don't load anymore. And we're missing something here. Okay, these need to be deleted because these don't exist anymore. Rotation test doesn't exist anymore. Missile mag is now a JSON object. The launcher's missing. That's what I can't seem to find. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so I need to go find where these are at. These are probably in the proxies. Yeah, here they are. So here's the standard launcher. This is now a JSON object. All this is eventually going to become JSON objects, so a lot of this code is going to disappear. But we're going to focus on launchers first. We're going to get the launchers set up to be really nice and functional. Oh, why is it every time I do these I get a phone call? Okay, we're back here. I just had to handle a phone call there, and I just realized why I was doing the phone call that I was recording in one of my lower quality profiles, and hopefully this one's a little better. So I'll pin the, yeah, well, actually I don't need to worry about that. But yeah, I found this spot, so we've commented these out. So we got the launcher commented out. I don't need to deal with any of this else. I do need to go to each one of these and probably update their contents. I did hit a bit of that, but now this is going to compile. I need to remove all of the launchers out of here. Remove the portable launcher field. So anything in here that's a JSON object, the fields need to be disappeared. Silo controller, we're good. Yeah, none of this stuff is documented, unfortunately. Missile mag. I think it's everything. It did produce some errors. So yeah, oh yeah, here we go. The larger launchers were hidden from the creative tab until I actually got around to implementing them. We're going to have to create some kind of listener, proxy, whatever to handle hiding stuff within EI, but that's going to have to come later. Yeah, right here we've got hiding the standard launcher. I don't know why that's in the tab. Got quite a few parts to handle still. So the missile mag needs to be recoded pretty much. It's got so much stuff in here that is no longer functional because we switched to the node system, of course, for those who haven't seen the last video. So the idea behind using the node system is that we're going to implement better functionality and be able to update faster, is an easy way to put it. So what we got here? So do not set fire to on the CPU. I'm trying to think of how to fix that part. I don't care if the CPU gets set on fire. It's basically indestructible, so we don't need to worry about that. Don't need to get that. Yeah, we're pretty much good here. So that clears up this. So this is a standard launch. You notice it's not. There's no errors in here, but of course I still got a lot of work to do to get it functional. There's a lot of other things like the client is not set up right yet. This has its own unique render system. And I've got to handle this, so I've got to port this over to the JSON system. So the JSON system is going to have to understand how to render this, which is the reason why I've got to get a listener per state. There's a high likelihood that I'm just going to leave the render system in here and just kind of work around things. This should be handled. We'll get that later. We're going to need a render listener, so this will be implements. That's actually something I didn't consider. The JSON system doesn't know how to load client versus server. It has absolutely no perception of that. Trying to think of how to handle that precisely. If we do the strippable thing, which is what we already have here, we shouldn't have a problem. It's when we start getting into things like packet handling and stuff that it's not designed to do. Really, really problematic. So I want to use the JSON system to kind of circumvent needing to do a lot of work. But of course, if the JSON system isn't set up to do this, then that means I have to figure out some way to handle it. But I guess first things first, we go and add, use iRender listener. Oh, here we go. iTile render listener. And of course that calls render dynamic, so we don't have to do anything. It's pretty much handled. Oh wait, it's not handled. This is meant to be handled by a listener-based system, but we're reusing the tile as the listener-based system. So this is basically meant to be a static-driven system. We do that real quick, and then basically go if tile equals this, or tile, or actually this would be get host is what this will equal. Get host, cool. Then we just call render dynamic, or actually we could just copy this whole piece of junk up there. Fortunate thing, by doing all this stuff, I'm kind of taking several steps backwards in how the system's designed. Let's see, so we got a center point, which is this XYZ thing. So we need to make a pause called center. We're missing some kind of float frame thing. And I don't know what it is. I don't think it's important. But yeah. Modify to fit missile rotation? Weird. I don't know what's up with that. That'll be handled via JSON, so I don't need to worry about that. Most of this is all render code, by the way, so this is probably going to be made into a render handler, is how this is probably going to be implemented. Yeah, that's how we're going to implement this. So we're going to get rid of this, and this is going to extend tile listener is what it's called. And we actually really don't care about most of this. What we want to do is tile is instance of iTile host, or iTile node host. And tile.getNode is an instance of tile standard launcher. Because we gotta get a whole bunch of code from the launcher. So it'd be tile standard launcher equals this piece right here. So yeah, I said I feel like I'm taking a few steps back when working on this because I built up the entire tile system to be designed to not need to have separate classes for rendering, separate anything for rendering. Right now we just got to go through here and just do all this stuff. I need to actually make the recipe system. So right now you see how we're calling recipe and we're getting like a frame complete, then we render all this stuff. There actually needs to be a render handler for this, and that render handler needs to be JSON driven. The reasoning behind that is if somebody else wants to add their own missile and they want that missile to do all its own things. I'm gonna have to throw this actual part belongs in the actual tile class, and this needs to be renamed. So this would be standard launcher render listener. We don't need that part. Oh, missile actually is needed. Oh, we'll have to get that in a second. And we're gonna have to set up handling for, yeah, there's gonna be a bit of code here that's gonna have to be handled. So we got this, we need to go find where the description packets are written. Here, and we'll put this here. And read description packet should only be handled client side to start with, so I don't have to worry about any of this stuff. So that's good. It says it has an error in it. I don't see an error. Oh, there goes it compiled finally. So I'm going to go launcher.missile. It's probably actually launcher.getMissile now. Yep, get missile. And then we have to get see if it's a custom missile render, and if it's custom missile render, we got to let it render on its own. So this is the render code to render a missile straight out. And then this is the render code to render the crafting recipe down here. And the thing is, I'm trying to see if there is a handler already for processing the model. So this is clearly called somewhere. Okay, so right there, if it's not processed, okay, we're good there. We don't have to do any special handling for that. We don't have to do any special construction because this is basically a block call actually. So this actually needs to implement block listener, because then you can apply this to a block is how it's going to be handled. And then what will happen is the tile when you go to the block, okay, do I have a render for this metadata? And it'll go, yeah, you got a render for this metadata, and you just, whatever, you render it. Yeah, that should do the trick. Theoretically means that you could have multiple renders, and this is actually where I need to, no, I can actually get the block from this. I don't need to do, or I can get the metadata, so I don't need to do that. So I was going through my head, I was going like, wait, what if we have 16 different renders and we want to apply them for 16 different metadata states? You have to check some way, and I'm like, you know what, I could put a boolean up here, could do this, could do that. I figured it out. You can get the metadata from here. There is a metadata call. Or there's a set metadata. There's not a get metadata. But you do have the world in here, so you could get the metadata, so it's not too big of an issue. So we got a standard listener here. So what we'll do is you go over here, and in the listeners, we will replace the normal missile render with the custom version, which is this. And then that what this will do is it'll create this eventually, although we still have to create a system to register and load this and whatever. But it'll handle this, and then we don't have to do anything. We just gotta get this registered to its system, and then when this runs, or actually this is the wrong file. When this runs, it'll go ahead and handle everything, and then it's already got the multi-block here. We still got to code the multi-block here, which will be another video on its own. This video is just more of me going through and trying to port code and seeing if we can get the system to launch. That's the current goal. That's gonna be a problem. So right now we're missing quite a few things. There's the silos. Where's the launcher at? There's definitely a block for the launcher because it would. Oh, that's right. You can't actually pull the launcher from the creative tab. Okay, I don't need this. Well, actually, I'm going to need that. So that's going to need to be put in there. But we're going to comment it out just so we can get everything running, and we'll figure out how to pull this stuff out of the creative tab later. What's more likely going to happen is I'm going to create a JSON-driven creative tab because doing this by hand sucks. But what I need the creative tab to be sorted. I need it to be set up so that way it's really easy to navigate, really easy to get through. So you notice how AMS is next to the FOF station, the launcher parts are next to each other, the tools are next to each other, all the antenna stuff is next to each other. That way when you're going through the tab, you can just pull everything out really quickly. That's the kind of the goal of doing it this way. And I wish I could do a much nicer creative tab for you guys, but it just takes way too much effort to fuck with the creative tabs. This is the closest you can get, which is how you can sort things. Okay, so we got the small silo, which still needs to be updated. Good news with this one is I just need to convert the recipe and multi-bucket. So I need to go and copy the standard silo and put all of its junk in here. So we're just going to go Control A, Control C, go to the small, Control A, Control V, put all that in there. I need just that. I don't need the whole multi-block structure. So this will be small silos, what this structure is going to be called. I got to put some kind of way of linking the multi-block code back. To be honest, multi-block needs to have some data applied to it, because right now we have a multi-block system, but we aren't doing callbacks for it. So that means it doesn't know what multi-block structure it's supposed to generate. So I gotta handle that. My dog's gonna go bark at people. One problem with having pets is that they hear a leaf move and they freak out. It's like a leaf, it's attacking us. Okay, so I gotta go through and rename things here. This needs to have an annotation above it. And the class name equals whatever I stuck in here. I also need to change that path actually too. So that path is actually here. I actually think they're already the same. This path actually surprisingly doesn't matter too much as long as it's consistent and it can find it. It works. Why is that lowercase? I'm gonna leave the lowercase here and here and here because it's already set up that way, but class name needs to be fixed. Okay, so this is 3 blocks tall, so we need to adjust our frame here to add one more, and I've got gnats flying around my room. God damn it. Okay, so I'll get rid of that. This stuff should already be handled. I gotta implement a version of this though. So I've got no way to implement that at the moment, but it'll need to be implemented. That's good. That needs to be turned into JSON. Render inventory code, I think I just need to come in here and change the methods. So we only need the one model. The reason why there was 2 models in here is the standard launcher actually uses the small models render code to function. It's a little weird, but it handles. So no need to complain about it. Um, okay, that's good. I don't think I need to translate it. Do I need to? Oh yeah, dude, it's got some weird translation. Gotta do the missile render translation too. So the missile render translation is 0.5, but it's only +4. So we change this to 0.4. Scaling is still the same. This has got some weird translation on it. We'll have to go figure out what's up with that later. 0.5. Change all these. And I need to copy this, because apparently I figured out that that is whatever translation we're going to use, and it's probably based off the fact that the model's not perfectly translated. I don't need this, because this is, of course, that's handled by whatever system we're using. At least it should be. Might have to make adjustments to it later. Bounding box. Do we have a field for the bounding box? Yes, we do. Okay, our bounding box is only 3 tall. So 3 tall. I just realized that this needs to actually be fixed. The other bounding box is probably messed up too. So where's that standard launcher? Okay, so this one needs to have this setup in it as well, because the bounding boxes are cubes, and I was for some reason thinking it's an offset value, but it's not an offset value. It's an actual cube value. So the min is 0, 0, but then this one has to be 1 in whatever the height is. Okay, that's good here. So we can get rid of the bounding box. I'll still have to implement this here later, but I can get rid of render item, I can get rid of render dynamic. These two are now handled, which means I can get rid of these. I still need the implements though, because I need to listen to placement and everything. Yeah, so I need to listen to placement to drop the missile. I need to listen to placement to make sure we can only be placed on top of an object. This needs to be handled, and if you guys are paying attention, look how small this class got to. Even this stuff could be handled via JSON. That's the point I'm getting to. That's the reason why I went through all the effort to make this functional, is that, yeah, it's pretty good actually. I need a recipe. Actually, how do we implement recipes? I actually have forgotten how to do that. Good thing is I do have other mods that have implemented recipes already. Here we go. So it's called crafting grid recipe. Okay, we need to determine what we're crafting, and this is going to be a block with the ID of the name, or actually no, it's the ID here plus the mod, so it'll be ICBM and then small silo. So there's our block, and then our recipe is this thing right here. Can we just copy and paste that? We sort of can. I'll have to change a few things, but it prevents me from having to type it in. Put a comma there, put a comma there. Cool thing is you can actually get rid of these spaces. I believe dots can be used, but I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to throw that in there. And then I just need to get the rest of this stuff. So what is the circuits called? There's actually a thing for this. Circuit basic. So go over here and just have to start implementing things here. So we're going to get rid of those. Add a comma here before I forget. Okay, so we want block iron bars. So this is literally going to be iron bars. The app block part is optional, but it is useful because it will process the recipe faster. If you just straight out tell it like, hey, this is a block you're looking for, it'll go, oh yeah, cool, I'm looking for a block, and then it'll find it, and you'll be good. Okay, so I need OR name for iron block. So some of the stuff is OR dictionary, some of the stuff is not OR dictionary. Unfortunately. Eventually I'm going to make it so that everything is actually OR dictionary, because then it'll work better that way. So this will be OR at, and then OR dictionary name. It's actually needs to be this way. Where would we at on the recipe here? So this one. So now we want to do the circuit, which is C. All the way over here. So this will be the last one. And this will be an OR as well. So be OR at. I need to do an alternative list, so there needs to be some way to do alternatives, but that isn't implemented at the moment. Right now, this does depend on circuit basic existing, which means the newer recipe will not automatically be compatible with this. Actually, you know what? I can implement both. It'll just take me like 2 seconds. Let me get back to here, and we'll implement this one first. And all you gotta do to implement the alternative for it is just copy and paste it. Of course, I need to do that because you can't have two with the same name. And we go back to universal recipes and we grab this. This means there will be no backup recipes. So if you don't have a circuitry system installed, you're pretty much screwed. Where was that? It's over here, and we put this here, and that'll work. So now there's our IC2 recipe. Why is that spelled weird? Oh, it's because I didn't copy it properly. Okay, so here's our IC2 recipe, here's our UE recipe. We could add an RF recipe down here. So this is one of the big things about why I'm working on JSON is I can add recipes for any mod I want to because I'm not dependent on their code. I call their block. I can call by the block name. I can call by the OR name. I can even specify metadata. I think metadata is literally like, I think it's like that and then a number. I actually don't remember what it is because I don't really have to ever use it. So this gets rid of the recipe out of here. We'll have to of course test to make sure it still works. But that fixes that one up. We then have the magazine left to do, which has a few things in here. Yeah, the magazine has an icon system, so we're going to have to provide block icons. Has a render dynamic call. Has a recipe too. Oh man, this is, 'cause I don't think the render system is designed to handle rendering a tile entity at the same time as rendering a block, so we'll have to work on that. Why is there a recipe up here and then there's a, well, somebody derped, probably me. Well, actually, well, it probably was me because I'm the only one that works in this mod. This needs to be long ticks. There is no on neighbor block change. This is a system designed to cache for things. You know, all honestly, I may just this extends missile container, right? I may just copy missile container really quickly and make an older version of it really quickly, just so I can not have to mess with the missile mag right now. Yeah, let's do that real quick. So I need one. I'm gonna close my chat window so it's not open, and then I'm gonna go to the organization website or organization GitHub, and I'm gonna copy the old code here. So this is one of the things where I was saying branching is important because I can go in the branch here, I can click development, and I can go exactly to the code I want, and I don't have to worry about it being messed with because I'm working on a separate branch instead of the main branch. At least I should be working on a separate branch, but I think everything got pushed to, no, wait, what's, oh no, wait, we were good. My brain got confused because I see a content folder and I'm like, oh, we're in the content folder. No, it's been a long week and we're only 2 days into the week. So storage, here's the small missile mag. So we want to get the raw for this. Control A, Control C, Control A, Control V. That resets it back to the default before I touch anything. We're still going to end up eventually converting parts of this to the JSON system, but we're going to take even slower steps in what we're doing because I got the launchers which need to be tested first, and I don't want to be in a situation where I've now got multiple tiles that are not working. We want to convert one tile at a time and then test one tile at a time because the JSON system is not designed yet to be doing complicated machines, which is what the launchers are. So we have to still make everything function. So the next step is I need to go to the content folder, go to the launcher, and I need to go get the missile container, which is not in there. It's probably in the prefab folder. No? Okay, where are you located at? You're in content display. That is the most weirdest thing ever, and I don't know what went through my head when I designed this. But the most important tile to the entire ICBM system is sitting in the display folder, which is the least important package of the entire system. So we want to do this, Control C, and what we're going to do is go find our display package, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to toss this in the launcher folder. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to paste this, and this is going to sit in here. So here's the old original. I don't know what you are. You're apparently just a static render tile. You're going to definitely go to the JSON system here in a few minutes. So we want to extend the old version here. So we want to get rid of that, and then we want to import the old one. So import class, and we want the display version. There we go. That class should now compile properly and now run properly. Even though you're seeing a red line up here, that's IntelliJ being derpy today. Oh, it's being derpy because that's missing. We need to go back to the ICBM class. And this is what we need. Import class. Create. You know what? I don't need to do that. No, I do need to do that because I need to. No, actually, I don't need to do that. I'll show you guys a really cool trick I can pull off in like 2 seconds. Okay, that means I don't need to actually store the block reference. I can do that. What this is, by the way, it's just a wrapper call to block.get block for name. I'm just using it in case I add some really cool handling to it later. There's literally no reason to use it. Don't need to mess with this anymore. I need to go to the creative tab though. And what are you? Why are you erroring? Okay, I need to put standard launcher here. So this will be. This is going to be cache, so we want to put a thing here. To do cache standard launcher block instance. I'm going to leave this open. I'm going to close some of these other ones just to get them off my screen. But I need to fix this one, so I'm going to come back here in like 2 seconds. Why? IntelliJ, quit pretending to have errors that don't exist. Okay. So I open up ICBM, it's like, oh, you got errors there. It's like, oh, no, there's no errors there. IntelliJ is legitly trolling me right now. Creative tab. Okay. This is how we're going to handle everything in the creative tab, by the way, is we're going to do something like this, except this will be JSON driven. So we're going to have to implement some kind of prioritization sorting system, maybe. For the moment, this is, the portable launcher doesn't exist anymore, but we're going to put the standard silo here. So this would be standard silo, and this is going to be small silo. And it should be spelled correctly. So if we go down to whatever, IntelliJ, quit telling me things. Okay. You guys are seeing this right. So underliner, they're going like, hey, you got an error. Open the class up. Not a single error in this entire class. ICBM's doing the same thing. So the ICBM class package. So I'm gonna hit build. I'm gonna hit rebuild project because I'm tired of this. Rebuild's gonna delete all of the local compiled stuff and it's gonna recompile everything, which should remove errors. If not, then IntelliJ's bugged. It does take a few minutes to compile. Let's go down and check to see if our names are correct. So small silo means this is lowercase. I think block names have to be lowercase. I don't remember. They can use underscores if you want to, but I've got to keep these consistent because of the fact that these are registered with a certain name. Cool. So that sets everything in. Eventually, I'm going to get everything running through the JSON system here because it'll get rid of a lot of these class files. It'll get rid of a lot of this problems. If somebody wants to customize content, say you make a mod pack and you wanted to remove the entire antenna system, you could literally just delete the JSON that loaded it, or you could set some kind of load condition that say they don't load anymore. And they would disappear out of the creative tab, so you wouldn't have to do anything like that. If you don't want them to be found, you could just remove them from the creative tab, remove their recipes. There's a lot of other things you can do. The JSON system holds a lot of potential for mod pack developers. It's one of the many things I'm working on to make sure it can do. Okay. So this is going to be tricky. Render bounds isn't implemented yet. None of these listeners, so these listeners aren't implemented yet. This render system should work though. So we might get something. So we're going to run debug and see if we crash. I don't hold out much hope this is going to run the first time. Speaking of which, some of the JUnit tests might fail. No, didn't fail. Ooh, cool. That's nice. Oh, this is going to crash. I know exactly why this is going to crash too. Give me like 2 seconds. I have to fix something. The reason this is going to crash is that this system isn't implemented right now. So we got our tile wrapper for our silo. I need to make sure that the standard silo has it. Okay, standard silo has it. And then there's a launcher here. Okay, so standard launcher. It doesn't have it, so it wouldn't have. It just would have straight and not loaded, is what this would have happened. So this needs to be standard launcher, and then I need to go to its class file or its data file and make sure that's spelled correctly, which I don't think it is. Okay, so tile standard launcher. This is not. That's a wrong package. It needs to be in this package. So we're going to copy this. Put that there. By the way, this does not define where this class file would show up at. This is saying where to find the class file. What defines where this shows up as is this. And right now, because we didn't prefix it, if we prefix this with a package, we can change its location. But we're not. So this is going to show up inside this folder. However, the code generator is not running right now. And that's the part that I was actually worried about. So I need to edit configurations. I need to go down here. I need to duplicate you, which I think I can do. So this will be code. This will be code generator ICBM. Hit apply. Now I need to change the template. So I actually don't need to change the template location. So the template location is sitting in VoltSengine, I think. Should be source.templates. No, that's actually not where they're at. We have to go find that. We then got to find the processor location, which I don't think has moved. But then it's this folder which I've got to set up. So this is right now sitting in VE, but I need to make sure that points at ICBM. So this will be whatever ICBM's package path is. Okay, so ICBM source. We don't want the main package, but the main package is where we're targeting it. So we're going to need to give it that package, which is up here. So this is our target folder. Eventually this is going to be handled so you don't have to customize this. There'll be some kind of like script inside the main repository that'll then be read, and then it'll know where everything is. I might submodule the template folder. That's probably how I'm going to actually handle it. Right now we're going to just do everything the hard way because I don't have a better solution. Okay, yeah, templates are still where they're exactly where last time. So this just needs to be updated to make sure. Yeah, it's okay. That's good. Output folder needs to be updated. So output folder needs to be ICBM. So it'll be ICBM source, and then in here there'll be a folder called Gen. And inside Gen there'll be a folder called Java. And then this is our folder. And our build script, what the build script will end up doing is it'll copy everything out of the output folder and put it into the source folder right before it compiles, and so everything will end up inside of the its location. I want to say the processor is in the right location because this actually does run, and it does run properly. And for the processor, I don't actually need a special path for it. I actually just need to get its package. So that'll be in Volts Engine, which is down here. It'll be MC CodeGen processor, and here we go. So there's a processor which is specifically designed just to handle the node system. There'll be processors for the entities, there'll be processors for the items, blocks, everything. Anything we think we need a processor for, there'll be one for. The reason why we don't just make one large one is confusing, and these are meant to be independent from each other. These are actually going to be loaded as a plugin. So what you end up having is you'll go, okay, I have this processor which needs to run. It'll be an annotation processor when I finally get it done. Right now it's just a text processor is how it actually functions. Let's see, working directory, yeah, that'll work. Okay, and then I need to go here and run task. I need to add, run another configuration, and we want to run this one. And hit apply. And then I need to go file, project structure, ICBM, sources. That's now source folder. And debug. Now what we should see is it should run the generator. The generator should now make us some brand new class files. And I'll probably end up changing the file location for all the tiles, so there'll actually be like a folder called gen inside the main thing. It'll contain all the generated files. Yeah, I just made them. We can tell because you just saw the packages shift. Yeah, right here. There's our wrapper. So it just made that class for us. I believe we just crashed still. No, we didn't crash. It just hasn't loaded Minecraft screen. So the thing that what the generator does, for those who haven't watched the last video, is it creates a tile class. That tile class then handles all of our stuff. Right now I'm using empty tiles because I just want to get the system launching. But what would be on there, you would have your inventory handling, you would have your power handling, fluid handling, all that stuff. And then the only thing the node has to do is go, okay, I've got an inventory and here's my size. I've got a power bank, here's its amount. I can handle fluid, here's my fluid tanks, and you're done. If you want more details on that, you can watch some of the older videos because I have shown it off a few times. And I'm going to be making more templates. I got to do the multi-block templates. So that's the next template that's got to be created. That's about it. There's not a lot of other templates I need to make. I do need to do a computer craft and an open computer template. What those will end up being is wrapper methods, and that's where that special system in JSON is going to end up coming into, where I can pick what tile loads. Because right now I have no way to handle if I'm going to a client or server tile, which means I definitely don't have a system designed to pick if you want to load open computers or not. And that's really important because one of the features of the JSON system needs to be is selective tile loading. So it's going to go, okay, we have open computers loaded, then that means we need to load this tile. We have computer crafts loaded, which means we need to load this tile. Well, if we have both of them loaded, we need to load this third tile, which now contains both the APIs on it. Although in reality, I kind of want to avoid doing that whole thing because of the fact that I don't want to be implementing computer craft support on every single one of my tiles. What may end up actually happening down the road, and I've been thinking about how to handle this for like the last 2 years, is I'm probably going to make a machine. That machine is going to use an internal API, and you'll put that machine down, then you'll put your computer next to that, or whatever you want to interface with. and it will relay all the commands for you. So there'll be a command terminal system, and you just fire off to a single method, which will be called terminal access or something. So you go, okay, terminal access, and you'll fire off the data you want. So the only thing the terminal will let you do is access data primarily, and there'll be some pre-built set calls and stuff. So you will be able to do set calls, I guess, because you need to be able to do that for missile launchers, but I got to plan that out. That'll come here eventually. When it ends up being implemented, then you will theoretically be able to interact with every single one of my tiles. That supports computer functionality. Some of the tiles will not have computer functionality intentionally. This will be things like if we have a hand rotation gear. So if you have a gear that you have to right click to rotate, there's no point in putting computer support on that. If we have a coal-powered furnace or even electrically powered furnace, neither of those is going to have computer support on it. You're not going to be able to go and attach your laptop to that and go, okay, I want to know the temperature of the furnace. You can't do that. Your stove can't do that. Like if you have a modern stove, you still can't even do that to that. You would have to put a piece of circuitry in there, and that circuitry would interface with the stove, which then would interface with your computer. And that's kind of how I plan to do everything. If the machine comes with a built-in computer system, you're going to be able to interact with it. If the machine does not, it may have an upgrade which will allow you to interact with it, etc., etc. So far, so good. What? 12 missing blocks in this what? Hit no. Did like ICBM just flat out fail to load? Speaking of which, did even right there, yeah, I detected our four tiles. Oh, I need to delete missile mag. Missile mag. I don't think it's even coded though. Yeah, it's empty. I can leave it there then. That'll be just a future we're gonna implement it. So what happened? Did we load ICBM? Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, I need to add information to these. I gotta figure out how to do this later. Okay, so it's acting like something changed significantly enough that it thinks everything is missing. Let me check our names. Our domain name is the same, our name is still the same, our prefix is still the same, our version stuff has not at all changed. All this looks good. Yeah, they're still passing the domain in. Still passing in our config package, so this all looks the same. And why did it think we're missing 12 tiles? Because it's like, you're missing blocks, but the thing is we're missing things, oh no, we were good here. Okay, we're meant to be missing rotation, large, oh yeah, we're good. Some of that stuff's meant to be missing. So when it says 12, it actually means 6, and we removed the medium launcher, the large launcher, the medium silo large launcher, so that's 4. Then I got rid of the display and rotation, so that's 6. I think I counted right. I have a feeling I didn't. Either way, we're good. Because I got rid of a few tiles. Maybe not test this world. I think it's the world I was using last time, which is good because that means I should be able to go find wherever I put my launcher at from last time. I need a mini-map mod. I just realized that. I got stuff over here. Should be something here, and okay, so the missiles are still loading. That's good. Okay, I think this is where I was at last time when I was testing. I'm not seeing the launchers render. That's not a bad sign though. That just means the render system is not implemented. Okay, so I can see the launcher frames here. And there should be a block still below them. There's not a block below them. That is not good. Okay, so those aren't working. Probably because they errored out. Or they registered with a different tile name. Okay, so here's our small silo. See if we can place this. It does place, so it's not broken completely. Same thing with our standard silo. It does place, so it's not broken completely. Okay, so those did fail to load, which is concerning because I don't want people's worlds to corrupt. So we're going to have to eventually figure out what's up with these. It did create a standard launcher, so these are functional. Let me go ahead and I want to reset the tops of these. I'll leave that one alone. The update code may not be initialized yet for these, which is the reason why the tops aren't updating. I don't think it's set up properly. So we'll have to check that. I have to fix the silos and stuff, which is going to take a while. I'm going to go ahead and just end this video here while I go figure out what I need to do to do this, and I may make another video or not, but it all depends on how things go.